1. Damian Lillard returns, winners and losers in the signing. 2. Damian Lillard's return to Portland. A great story or a risky move? 3. Damian Lillard returns to the Trail Blazers. What it means for Portland. 1. Damian Lillard returns, winners and losers in the signing. The return of Damian Lillard to the Portland Trail Blazers is more than just a reunion. It's a seismic shift in the NBA landscape. But here's where it gets tricky. While the headlines scream homecoming, the Real story is layered with winners, losers, and a healthy dose of uncertainty. Let's break it down. And don't miss the twist that could redefine Portland's future. Winner, Damian Lillard. Let's start with the obvious. Lillard's back. But this isn't just a sentimental victory. Financially, he's outdone himself. After a $14 million per year contract extension with the Blazers, followed by a massive buyout from the Bucks, thanks to a torn ACL, he's now locked into a 3-year, mid-level exception deal with a no-trade clause and a player option. Think of it as a financial safety net for a career winding down. Rehab in Portland? Check. Family nearby? Check. And let's not forget the intangible. His hero status in Rip City is as secure as ever. Even if his on-court performance falters, his off-court influence as a brand ambassador is unmatched. Critics may question his value, but in Portland, Lillard is the golden goose. Winner, Trail Blazers PR and fans. For years, the Blazers felt like a team stuck in a time loop, good enough to stay relevant but not great enough to matter. Their draft of young Henderson in 2025 was a bright spot, but nothing compared to the seismic hype Lillard brings. Suddenly, Portland isn't just a mid-tier team. It's a media magnet. Lillard's return isn't just a story. It's a narrative reset. Fans are euphoric even if he won't play for a year. Why? Because in a league obsessed with wins, Lillard's presence alone sells jerseys, drives ratings, and turns empty arenas into sold-out cathedrals. This isn't just PR, it's a resurrection. Loser, Scoot Henderson. Here's the rub. When you trade your franchise star for future assets, you expect a young star to rise. Scoot Henderson, once the Blazers' golden boy, now faces a crowded backcourt with Lillard and Drew Holiday. But here's where it gets controversial. Can a rookie really learn from two all-stars? Or does it create a leadership vacuum? Imagine trying to master a skill with two experts shouting advice from the sidelines. It's a recipe for confusion. Henderson's development hinges on playing time and confidence. But with Lillard sidelined and Holiday in his prime, will Billups prioritize experience over growth? This isn't just a question of talent. It's a test of trust. Winner, Joe Cronin. Portland's GM, Joe Cronin, has spent years as the NBA's version of a quiet engineer. But with Lillard's return and Holiday's acquisition, he's suddenly a household name. Critics once called his moves safe. But now he's the architect of a rebuild. Even if the Blazers don't win, Cronin's gambles have bought him credibility. Is this a masterstroke or a desperate Hail Mary? Only time will tell, but one thing's clear. He's no longer flying under the radar. Loser. Chauncey Billups, maybe? Chauncey Billups, the first ever Blazers coach, now faces a high-stakes gamble. On paper, adding Lillard and Holiday should bolster his roster. But here's the catch. Both veterans are in their mid-30s, coming off injuries, and not exactly at their peak. Expectations will skyrocket, but if the wins don't follow, Billups could become the scapegoat. It's a classic coaching dilemma. Balance youth and experience while managing egos. And let's not forget the two dads in the backseat problem. Will Lillard and Holiday dominate the spotlight, leaving Billups to clean up the mess? To be determined, the actual Trail Blazers. Let's not kid ourselves. Lillard's return isn't a guarantee of glory. A 35-year-old recovering from a major injury brings risks. Will his offensive magic return? Can the Blazers' supporting cast keep up? And what about defense? Lillard isn't exactly a lockdown defender. This isn't just a team, it's an experiment. If it works, Portland could be playoff-bound. If not, it's a costly lesson in nostalgia. So, is this a masterstroke or a risky gamble? The hype is real, but the reality isn't proven. For now, Portland is riding the wave of hope. But when the dust settles, who will stand tall? And who will crumble? The answer lies on the court. What do you think? Drop your thoughts below. Agreement, disagreement, or something in between. 2. Damian Lillard's return to Portland. A great story or a risky move? Damian Lillard's return to the City of Roses is a heartwarming tale, but it's also a head-scratching basketball decision. We all felt the same warm fuzzies when Damian Lillard announced his comeback to the Portland Trail Blazers. It's a narrative that tugs at our heartstrings, a classic sports story of loyalty and homecoming. Lillard tried his hand at chasing the championship elsewhere, but there's something undeniably satisfying about seeing a legend finish where it all began. He's surrounded by a familiar medical team, close to his loved ones, and acting as a mentor to the team's young guns. It's a scenario that oozes feel-good vibes. However, basketball isn't a game played on sentiment alone. The Blazers are currently undergoing a rebuild, sparked by the very trade that sent Lillard packing in 2023. Although they showed some potential towards the end of the previous season, they're still a ways off from being considered serious contenders. The real intrigue lies in how Lillard will fit into this rebuild. Let's start with the financial implications. For the 2025-26 season, Lillard's return is financially seamless, fitting snugly into Portland's mid-level exception. By buying out DeAndre Ayton, the Blazers managed to create room for Lillard without incurring luxury tax penalties. While they could have potentially used this exception on someone who could contribute immediately, quality talent was scarce by the time Lillard signed. Moreover, this isn't a team that desperately needed another $15 million player, considering their current depth. Their real challenge is building a roster capable of contending. Lillard was once the beacon of stardom for Portland. However, as a 36-year-old recovering from a torn Achilles, his impact during the 2026-27 season is uncertain. Initially, Portland had the potential for max cap space in the summer of 2026. But with Lillard and Drew Holiday on board, achieving that would require renouncing the cap holds on all their free agents. This includes the promising Shaedon Sharpe, a prospect too valuable to let go. Consequently, Portland's cap space for 2026 is effectively nullified, unless further moves are made. Looking ahead to the 2027-28 season, the situation becomes murkier. With Holiday's hefty contract, Jeremy Grant's sizable salary, and Lillard's reduced pay, Portland will owe over $87 million to 3 players past their primes. This is a peculiar predicament for a team in the midst of rebuilding. It's especially problematic given that most of the young talent on the roster will soon be commanding market-rate salaries. Defensive standout Toumani Camara will be a free agent in 2027, while Sharpe and Scoot Henderson will need new deals, either via rookie extensions or restricted free agency. This means that by 2027-28, all 3 will be earning substantial salaries. Now, let's delve into the roles of Sharpe and Henderson. The rationale behind acquiring Holiday's long-term contract was to create playing time for these two. Both possess impressive physical attributes and have shown flashes of brilliance, but neither has solidified their status as a franchise cornerstone. This season will be crucial in determining their long-term potential. Lillard's presence will undoubtedly aid their development, but what happens when he returns to full health? In a scenario where Sharpe and/or Henderson fail to secure a permanent spot in Portland, Lillard might reclaim his starting role in 2026. But what's the plan? Compete with a diminished Lillard, or embark on a rebuild? The roster's composition doesn't lend itself to an easy reset. Are they merely biding time until the valuable draft picks acquired in the 2023 trade bear fruit? The franchise's future looks grim if Lillard regains control of the offense upon his return. The ideal outcome would be breakout seasons from Sharpe and Henderson. However, what does that mean for Lillard? Can he adjust to a reserve role? Players of his caliber often struggle with such transitions. Even the venerable Chris Paul reportedly desires a starting spot at 40. Legends like Carmelo Anthony and Russell Westbrook faced resistance in accepting bench roles. Dwayne Wade's return to Miami offers a blueprint for Lillard. In his second stint with the Heat, Wade started only twice in 93 games, averaging around 25 minutes. A reduced Lillard could significantly bolster the Blazers' shot creation, which was lacking last season. Whether Lillard would embrace a similar role remains uncertain. Starting him alongside Sharp and Henderson could weaken the defense-first approach developed last season and rob a key youngster like Denny Avdija or Tamani Kamara of a starting position. This analysis doesn't account for Drew Holiday's uncertain future. Unlike Lillard, Holiday lacks the same team ties and hasn't reached the same individual heights. Transitioning from a starter on a championship squad to an uncertain role on a non-playoff team since 2021 is a tough pill to swallow. Would Portland have pursued Holiday if they knew Lillard was returning? We can only speculate. Despite their differences, Holiday's cultural impact was a significant draw. Lillard provides similar leadership at a fraction of the cost. Having multiple respected veterans isn't inherently problematic, but it can strain the rotation. Is Portland's signing of Lillard a misstep? Not necessarily. It's a debatable move that raises questions about the team's strategy over the next few years. The cost, including the third-year player option, was manageable enough to warrant a gamble. Fan enthusiasm aside, several scenarios could justify the decision from a basketball perspective. If Lillard intends to gradually assume a lesser role upon his comeback and retire gracefully as a supporting player, akin to Wade's farewell tour, it's a resounding win. Should Portland find a taker for Grant's unfavorable contract, the sting of Lillard's third season is mitigated. If Sharp and/or Henderson emerge as stars this season, crediting Lillard for their growth, the contract becomes worthwhile. Alternatively, this could be a strategic move for Lillard to recuperate from injury while securing a lucrative contract, with the intention of eventually joining a championship contender. Though unconfirmed, it's a plausible scenario. He likely would have settled for the minimum salary at a top-tier team. Portland, with its mid-level exception, offered a better deal. Once healthy, Lillard could generate trade interest, enabling the Blazers to facilitate his move to a preferred destination while recouping assets. Hall of Famers detest minimum salary contracts more than bench roles. Given the no-trade clause in Lillard's deal and the contentiousness surrounding his 2023 trade request, another departure from Portland seems unlikely unless initiated by Lillard. Yet, considering the complexities discussed, ruling it out entirely is challenging. While the initial reaction to Lillard's return was undoubtedly positive, the subsequent thoughts revolved around the numerous basketball questions it raises. Only time will tell if Lillard and the Blazers can provide satisfactory answers as they strive to transform from a plucky underdog to a genuine playoff threat. 3. Damian Lillard returns to the Trail Blazers. What it means for Portland. In a significant development for basketball fans, 9-time NBA All-Star Damian Lillard has officially agreed to a 3-year contract worth $42 million to make his return to the Portland Trail Blazers, as reported by ESPN on Thursday. This deal is noteworthy not only for its financial implications but also because it includes a player option for the 2027-28 season and a no-trade clause, which is a rare feature in NBA contracts. Lillard now stands alongside LeBron James of the Los Angeles Lakers as one of the only players in the league to possess a true no-trade clause. This aspect of his contract is particularly intriguing, especially considering that Bradley Beal had a similar clause before reaching a buyout agreement with the Phoenix Suns just days ago. The desire for Lillard and the Trail Blazers to reunite has been palpable in recent weeks. There have been numerous discussions involving Lillard, the team's general manager Joe Cronin, and head coach Chauncey Billups, all aimed at fostering a strong relationship and moving forward together with a new agreement. Earlier this month, the Milwaukee Bucks made the surprising decision to waive Lillard, who is now 35 years old, and they restructured his remaining $113 million contract to accommodate the signing of free agent center Miles Turner. As a result, Lillard's total salary for the 2025-26 season will amount to $70 million, combining his contracts with both Portland and Milwaukee. Over the next 2 years, he is set to earn $141 million, leading up to an opt-out option in 2027. The finalization of this deal was completed this week between Blazers officials and Aaron Goodwin from Goodwin Sports Management. Lillard's journey has not been without its challenges. He suffered a torn left Achilles tendon during Game 4 of the Bucks' first-round playoff series against the Indiana Pacers in late April, which required surgery in early May. As he prepares for the 2025-26 season, Lillard will focus on rehabilitating his injury. However, his return to Portland, where his family resides, was a top priority for him. Despite receiving several offers from other NBA contenders, including mid-level exception and minimum contracts, Lillard chose to come back to the franchise that drafted him. In a notable trade in 2023, Portland sent Lillard to the Bucks in exchange for Jrue Holiday, Toumani Camara, and additional assets. Subsequently, the Blazers traded Holiday to the Boston Celtics for Robert Williams III, Malcolm Brogdon, and other assets, one of which led to the acquisition of Deni Avdija. Now, the Trailblazers have successfully brought back both Lillard and Holiday, along with Avdija, Williams, Camara, a first-round pick in 2029, and 2 pick swaps from the Bucks. This strategic move positions the Blazers to build on their previous season's performance, where they finished with a record of 22-18, ranking among the top 5 teams in the NBA for defense and third in transition defense. According to ESPN research, Lillard's legacy with the Trailblazers is remarkable. He spent 11 seasons with the team, earning 7 All-Star selections and being named to the All-NBA teams 7 times. He has led Portland to the playoffs on 8 occasions, including a memorable run to the Western Conference Finals in the 2018-19 season. Lillard holds the franchise records for points scored, 19,376, and three-pointers made, 2,387. And he ranks second in assists with 5,151. In terms of scoring prowess, Lillard has achieved 7 games with 55 points or more during his time with the Trailblazers, a feat unmatched by any other player in the team's history. This return to Portland not only marks a new chapter for Lillard, but also raises questions about the future of the franchise. Will this reunion lead to a resurgence for the Blazers? What are your thoughts on Lillard's decision to come back? Share your opinions in the comments.